Every civilization knew the world would end. The only thing they disagreed on was how. Some believed the sky would burn. Some believed the oceans would rise and swallow the earth. Some believed the sun would disappear, the gods would die, the stars would fall, and time itself would collapse before the universe was born again. Across continents, religions, and thousands of years, humanity returned to the same terrifying idea. The world we know is temporary. No empire lasts forever. No kingdom is eternal. No age of gods, heroes, kings, or monsters can escape the final hour. The apocalypse is not only a religious idea. It is one of humanity's oldest fears. Ancient people saw the end in storms, floods, earthquakes, eclipses, and wars that turned cities into smoke. Every disaster became a warning. Every catastrophe asked the same question: what if one day this does not stop? That is why nearly every civilization created its own vision of the end. Not because they desired destruction, but because they understood that everything humans build is fragile. Cities fall, temples burn, kings die, civilizations rise, believing they are chosen by the gods, until another army arrives at their gates. The apocalypse is mythology's way of saying that order is never guaranteed. In Norse mythology, the end is called Ragnarok. It is a storm of blood, ice, fire, betrayal, and fate. Before it begins, the world rots from within. A terrible winter covers the earth. Families betray one another. Brothers kill brothers. Trust collapses. Then the chains break. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, is freed. Jormungandr, the world's serpent, rises from the sea. Loki escapes and sails with the enemies of the gods. The dead march. The giants come. Heimdall blows his horn, and the final battle begins. Odin is devoured by Fenrir. Thor kills Jormungandr, but dies from the serpent's venom. Loki and Heimdall destroy each other. Fire spreads across the world. The sun is swallowed. The stars vanish. The earth sinks beneath the sea. Ragnarok is not just destruction. It is the death of an entire cosmic order. And yet, after the fire and the sea, the earth rises again. Green, silent, renewed. A few survivors remain. A new sun appears. Life returns, but it is not the same life as before. This is one of the deepest truths in apocalyptic mythology. The end is not always the end. Sometimes, the end is transformation. In Hindu cosmology, the end of the world is part of a vast cycle. Time is not a straight line. Time is a wheel. Universes are born, sustained, dissolved, and born again. The cycle of the Yugas tells of ages that decline over time. The first age is filled with truth and harmony. But with each age, virtue weakens. Humanity becomes more selfish, violent, greedy, and disconnected from the sacred. Finally comes Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, an age of corruption, conflict, ignorance, and spiritual decay. This apocalypse does not fall suddenly from the sky. It happens slowly, through moral collapse. Truth weakens. Leaders become corrupt. Wealth becomes more important than wisdom. The sacred becomes a tool for power. The world ends because the inner order of humanity falls apart. At the end of the cycle, destruction comes, but it is not meaningless. Vishnu appears as Kalki to restore balance. Then creation begins again. The world is renewed. The Aztecs also believed that worlds had ended before ours. In the myth of the five suns, previous worlds were destroyed by jaguars, wind, fire, and flood. We live under the fifth sun, and this world too is destined to end. This idea is terrifying because it removes the illusion that our world is guaranteed. Reality has failed before. Worlds have been created and erased. Entire versions of existence have vanished. To the Aztecs, the sun needed nourishment. Cosmic order had to be maintained through ritual and sacrifice. In their mythic worldview, sacrifice was the price of keeping the universe alive. Many apocalyptic myths share this idea. Order must be maintained. The universe is not stable by default. If morality decays, if humans forget their obligations, reality begins to loosen. In the book of Revelation, apocalypse becomes a final unveiling. The word apocalypse originally means revelation or uncovering. The end of the world is not only destruction. It is the moment when reality is finally seen clearly. Empires that seemed eternal are revealed to be temporary. Evil that seemed hidden is exposed. The suffering of the righteous is witnessed. The violence of the world is brought to judgment. Here, apocalypse is moral reckoning. This is why apocalyptic stories are so powerful. They promise that history is not meaningless. Injustice will not last forever. Corruption will be revealed. The proud will fall. The dead will not be forgotten. In Zoroastrian tradition, the end also contains judgment, purification, and renewal. Evil is defeated. The dead are raised. Reality is healed. The end is not annihilation. It is correction. In Buddhist cosmology, worlds also arise and pass away across immense spans of time. No world is permanent. No heaven, body, mountain, kingdom, or star escapes impermanence. The world ends not because of divine anger, but because everything that begins must end. This may be the most unsettling apocalypse of all. A monster can be fought. A prophecy can be resisted. But impermanence cannot be defeated. Every civilization gave a different answer to the end. The Norse answer was courage. The Hindu answer was rhythm. The Aztec answer was sacrifice. The Christian answer was judgment and redemption. The Buddhist answer was awakening. Different myths, different gods, different symbols. But beneath them all is the same fear: the world can end. And perhaps that fear is personal. Every human being experiences small apocalypses before the final one. Childhood ends. Love ends. Families break. Homes are lost. Bodies age. Beliefs collapse. A person can wake up and realize the world they knew no longer exists, even though the sun is still rising. This is why apocalypse stories feel so powerful. They take personal loss and expand it to cosmic scale. Apocalypse is not only about the planet. It is about the collapse of meaning. But these myths also offer comfort. The world has ended before, and yet stories continue. The flood recedes. The earth rises. The sun returns. Survivors emerge. A new age begins. Even after fire, there is ash. And ash is what the future grows from. Modern humanity has inherited these ancient fears, but our apocalypses have changed shape. We fear nuclear war, climate change, artificial intelligence, engineered disease, ecological collapse, and the exhaustion of the planet that keeps us alive. Our monsters are technological, political, and environmental now. But emotionally, they are not so different from the old ones. Jormungandr still rises when oceans warm. Ragnarok still burns in cities destroyed by war. Pandora's box still opens when humanity releases a power it cannot control. Kali Yuga still feels familiar when truth becomes fragile and society loses its moral center. The apocalypse has not disappeared. It has become modern. But mythology does not only ask how the world will end. It asks what kind of people we become when we believe the world is ending. Do we become cruel or brave? Do we sacrifice others or protect them? Do we restore what is broken or surrender to despair? Do we cling to illusion or finally see clearly? The end of the world reveals character. When the sky darkens and the old order collapses, people reveal what they truly worship: survival, power, justice, hope, or nothing at all. That is why apocalypse is not only destruction. It is revelation. It shows the weakness of empires, the arrogance of kings, the courage of the humble, and the truth beneath comfort. Maybe this is the greatest lesson hidden in every civilization's vision of the end. Apocalypse is not only a prediction. It is a warning. It tells us what happens when balance fails, when pride grows too large, and when humans forget that every world can fall. But it also tells us that endings are not always empty. A world can end, and something can still be born. A civilization can fall, and a story can survive. A god can die, and the sun can rise again. A person can lose everything and still become someone new. The end of the world is terrifying because it reminds us that nothing lasts. But it also asks us what should last. If everything can burn, what is worth protecting? If every kingdom falls, what kind of life is worth living? Perhaps the answer is not found in escaping the end. No civilization truly escapes it. The answer is found in how we live before the end arrives. Every civilization imagined the end because every civilization knew its world was mortal. Temples crack. Kings are forgotten. Cities become ruins. Languages disappear. Gods lose worshippers. The sun sets on every empire. And yet humanity keeps building, keeps praying, keeps telling stories, keeps lighting fires against the dark. Maybe this is what makes us human. Not that we believe the world will last forever, but that we create meaning even though we know it will not. The world will end. But until it does, we are responsible for how it lives. So when ancient civilizations imagined the last day, they were not only predicting doom. They were asking us to wake up, to see the world while it still exists, to honor its beauty, to understand that every sunrise is temporary and therefore sacred. The end is coming, in myth, in history, and in every human life. But the end is not the only thing coming. So is renewal. So is memory. So is the question of what we will choose to protect before the final hour arrives. Thank you for watching this journey into the end-of-the-world myths that shaped civilizations across the earth. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories about ancient gods, forgotten prophecies, dark mythology, and the timeless fears that still shape humanity today.